Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to The Walk. Today is Monday, February 3rd, and we are jumping into Ezekiel 34. We have been doing a very deep dive of Ezekiel, and I think we started this on July 6th, and we're only up to chapter 34. Today's message is going to be a little unusual. I don't have any scripture verses for today because I want to give you the background on a word that shows up 31 times in Ezekiel 34. That means this word is extremely important. So I did a very in-depth word study of this word. So when I first copied and pasted Ezekiel 34 into my notes, I saw that the word shepherd was showing up over and over and over again. So I decided, you know what, I'm gonna count that up. And it came to 16. So then I went to studylight.org, one of my favorite websites, and I put in Ezekiel 34 and I clicked on the first word for shepherd and it gave me the Hebrew word. That Hebrew word for shepherd is ra'ah. And it can also mean to feed or eat. So then I look at this word a little more in depth, and one of the pieces of information it gave me was how many times it shows up in each book of the Bible. So of course I clicked on Ezekiel. That word shows up in Ezekiel 32 times. 31 of them are in Ezekiel 34. So anytime in this chapter that we encounter the word shepherd, feed, or eat, it's this word ra'ah. So I thought to myself, okay, so that's a lot of times to be using this word. And Ezekiel only uses it once in the rest of the book. So it's not like it's a word that Ezekiel drew from on a regular basis. There's something special about the reason why it's in this chapter so many times. So then I started digging into more into the definition. Well, the definition of ra'ah is to tend, pasture, graze, feed, to associate with, to be a friend of, to be a special friend, to a shepherd, to be a ruler, a teacher, a herdsman. In the Strong's, it means to tend a flock, to take it to pasture, to graze, generally to rule, by extension, to associate with as a friend. Well, when I got to the pictograph of this word, the picture was of a man, of the head of a man, and the other letter was the picture of the eye. Combined, these mean man watches. And right away, I had goosebumps on my goosebumps, because just last week, we talked about the role of the watchman. And here we have a word where the pictograph means man watches. The shepherd closely watched over his flock. Often, they are his only companions. That describes a watchman, which we talked about just last week. The first correlation to Ezekiel's word to the wicked kings of Israel is the dichotomy of our present-day American politicians. So when we think about this whole first part of the chapter is going to be about how these leaders of Israel are called to shepherd their people, but instead of shepherding their people, they're living off of them. They're saying, you're going to care for me instead of them caring for us. And if that doesn't describe what's been happening in our political culture, I don't know what does. We've had the rich living off of the people rather than the rich taking care of the people and shepherding and leading the people. So when I went to BibleStudy.org, I found some interesting note about the number 31. It comes from one of the Hebrew names for God. And when you look at the gematria, which is a way of interpreting scripture by substituting the letters of a Hebrew or Greek word by their equivalent numerical values. So just like we had the Roman numeral system, they used Hebrew lettering to represent numerals. Well, To make 31, you need two letters. You need Lamed and you need Aleph. So I thought to myself, okay, what do those letters mean? And Lamed is the tallest letter in the Hebrew. It is the only letter that goes above the line. And it's the 12th letter. And because it's the 12th letter, it's in the very middle of the alphabet. So it's considered the center of the heart. Because it towers over the other letters from that central position, it is said to represent the King of Kings. This idea is supported by the idea that the preceding letter stands for the throne of glory, and the following letter stands for kingdom. So the Hebrew name of the letter itself comes from the root word lamad, meaning to learn or to teach. And all that comes from HebrewForChristians.com. So what we have here is we have a letter that means King of Kings. It's preceded by the throne of glory, and it's right after it, we have the letter that represents the kingdom. So this Lamed points straight to the fact that Jesus is the King of Kings, Lord of Lords, and the Shepherd. When we go to Aleph, it is the first letter of the alphabet, and it is called the father of the Hebrew letters. And its original pictograph represents an ox, strength, and leadership. If that doesn't describe a shepherd, I don't know what does. So as we put all this together, just the fact that this Hebrew word shows up in this chapter 31 times gives more oomph to the fact that that word shepherd is significant. It's pointing to the fact that a leader should be a servant leader, just as Jesus taught us to be. Have a wonderful day. God bless, and keep walking the walk.